There are places on Earth that human adventure seems to have designed, forged and built, just so that our eyes could admire and share their centuries-old history. In its landscapes and villages, castles and rivers, the Dordogne has retained the imprints and traces that justify its name, the country of mankind. Our lightboats, called in French gabare, will take you along the Dordogne, showing you a stunning selection of some of the most typical sights in the region. The lightboats first departed from La Roque-Gageac 33,000 years ago, when our Cro-Magnon cousins lived in the little troglodyte caves in the cliffs above. This area was home first to the Celts, then the Gallo-Romans, and even the Vikings from the far north, a sort of human transhumance. Here the footsteps and paths of many people crossed, the famous and the wise, lords, traders, religious men, and above all the poor, upon whose labour the success of the others depended. We will tell you about Galileo and his friend John Tard, as well as the rocks that tumbled down onto the village. See this castle. How old do you think it is? And its name. It was named after the scourge of leprosy. 700 years ago, the sick were isolated here, in the surrounding houses. The castle inherited its name from the hospital. Let's leave the village and sail on along the river. We're sailing just as they did in ancient times, on a modern replica of an old boat, which is now equipped with the modern conveniences of motors, seats, and shades to protect you from the burning sun. We also have a guide who will tell you about the 10 centuries of the fascinating history of the Dordogne Valley. And don't worry, it won't be necessary when we come back to La Roque to drag the boat from the towpath like they used to do 150 years ago. Ah yes, you are halfway between the source of the Dordogne and its estuary, each 240 kilometers away from you now. We will also tell you about inland water shipping and the way the lightboatmen lived. We will tell you about the dams, the currents, the sedentary and migratory fishes, the fauna and flora, the mushrooms, the springs, and their legends. There will also be the wars, the crusades, the besieged fortresses like this one here in Castelnau-la-Chapelle. From the top of this dungeon, you can feel the weight of 9 centuries of history, from the Cathars to the Plantagenets and the Capetians and their 100-year war, to the related museum of medieval weapons. You will then come back to La Roque-Gageac, enjoying the charm of the river. But take care, we still have to make sure you know about the tides and the floods. Before we finish, we'll try to show you the banana and palm trees and bougainvillea that wind dreamily through the tiny streets of the village of La Roque-Gageac. After all this, you might finally understand why so many people across the globe come here. Could these cliffs really be a giant magnet? Could the stones of the buildings really be jewels? Could the cuisine of Périgord be a unique nectar? Or could it be that the Dordogne is simply alive and bursting with stories to tell? And doesn't the river talk to you while she carries you along? In 1 hour, the boat ride and the commentary in your language will develop this short presentation just as it will enrich your knowledge and love for this area and our beautiful region. See you soon on the Gabares Norbert.